Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here, we take a variety of psychological topics and coaching topics. We break them down into discernible language for you. We do that almost on a daily basis. We've got over 400 for you to check out, so that's a cool thing. In any event, I encourage you, if you are looking for ways to better your life, reach out. I do psychological, emotional, and life, business, and entertainment related coaching. And so hopefully that's helpful to you in some way if you're interested in connecting in order to become a client. The best way to do that is there's two ways. One is through this page here, going to the About Me section and clicking on the website link that I have, or two, on Twitter at PO Perception. In any event, we're going to kind of go into I don't want to say a rerun video, but an expansion video on things we've already done. Just because there were things I missed, and because people wanted me to go into deeper detail on some things. So these are psychological tricks that actually work. The first is using a person's name in a conversation. Now, you don't want to overdo this, certainly. You know, if I use your name every 30 seconds, you're probably going to get annoyed with me because you'll figure I don't know my pronouns. But using a person's name throughout a conversation, maybe once or twice in a half hour, or 3 or 4 times in an hour, would be appropriate, because when we hear our name, we tend to key in on what follows it. So when we key in on what follows our name, what we're really saying is we feel valued, we feel heard, and we feel valuable. So if you're wanting to impress somebody or connect with them, especially during a first time meeting, then using their name is a good way to do that. Next thing is sharing the load. So if you really want to help somebody, or you want to connect with somebody, and let's say they're carrying something or they're doing something that could use assistance, volunteer to help in the middle, but do so silently. In other words, just start to, for example, carry something for them, or maybe they're walking through the door and they're carrying something, and you hold the door for them, and you just do really simple, kind things. These sharing of responsibilities are a sign that you're invested in them as a person, and the ability to invest in someone as a person can ultimately lead, and does ultimately lead, to the belief that you care about their outcome, their happiness, and making their life easier. Next is, if you're going to be taking a test, have gum or mints or a pen cap to chew on, some repetitive thing to do while you're studying, and bring it with you during your test. Now, obviously, you can't bring answers, but you can bring a sensory, tactical expression or experience with you, and what'll happen is you'll flash back in your mind in little intervals, usually about 17 to 30 seconds, and you'll remember studying while having that scent or that aroma or that taste or that smell or that repetitive behavior, which means you'll remember studying the material at a deeper level, thereby creating a ability to kind of go deeper with what you remember. Now, does it always work? No, but it can often, help you through those moments where you might need to answer 10 questions correctly, and without doing it, you might have answered 7, and with doing it, you might get to 9 or 10. So there is proof that it does help to focus the mind. Next is focus on building manifestation behaviors. So a manifestation behavior is a behavior that looks at where you're going to be, or where you're going, or the steps it takes to get where you're going, as opposed to the circumstances of where you are. The more you focus on the ability to create, the more you focus on the ability of possibility to come into your life, the easier it is to actually make that happen. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they focus on what hasn't happened yet, and actually they create mental, emotional, and energetic blockages in their own life, because you only get in life what you focus on. So getting the result of your focus, if you're focused negatively, or if you're focused in an uphill manner, it can be extremely difficult to break free of that behavior. Now, the de-escalation of asking for a favor is another trick that we've talked about in previous audios, and actually the last 4 of these we've already talked about, so I'll run through them really quickly. But the de-escalation of a favor, this is the idea that if you ask a favor of someone and you do so and you say, hey, I need you to run me to the store and to here and to there and to there. And you say, well, and the person says, well, that's a lot of time. That's a big time commitment. I can't do all that. And you say, okay, well, can you at least run me to the store and then I can walk to the next place I need to go? And the person is more likely to do the smaller of the favors. And so the de-escalation of the favor is valuable because at the end of the day, they think they're getting away with doing less when in reality your goal was to ask them to do the smaller favor. That's what you really wanted to begin with. When you start wider and you whittle down, they feel like they're being asked to do less, which means they're more likely to comply. The next thing like unto it when it comes to favors, ask for a favor when a person is somehow at least partially distracted. So that means they're tired, or they just got off the phone, or they've just been working on something. And I know it's a sneaky trick and it's not a cool thing to do, but a person who's distracted is more likely to agree to something. And if they have a high conscience, then chances are they're willing to follow through because they said they would. Now, that can get really dicey if you do it all the time, so you have to use that one sparingly. But in opposition, if you are always asking for somebody when they're fully alert to do things and they say no, asking when they're distracted might up your chances. The next thing to consider is mirror imaging their body language and their verbal language when trying to convince somebody of something. People like to see, sense, and feel like they're understood, but they also like to see, sense, and feel that people relate to them. So the use of body language, posture, nonverbal cueing, and word choices, all of these things combined together can in fact influence a person to agree with you, as can nodding during a conversation. If you nod along with a person, that means you agree with them. A person who feels agreed with is more likely to do something for you because they feel there's a camaraderie and kind of an overlap of intention there. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.